we are stepping up the level of our services. Our goal is to treat your loved ones with the respect they deserve. We are taking our services to new heights. We are stepping in a new direction. Step into the new millennium with Golden Gate Funeral, where service begins and never ends.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Undertaker, an open and honest look into funeral service brought to you by Golden Gate Funeral Home and Crematory, with facilities in Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and Tallulah, Louisiana. I'm your host, John Beckwith Jr., and I'm joined today by our Queen of Pre-Need, Sister Deborah Abrams.
Hello, everybody.
We have our King of Pre-Need, Brother Eddie Pace.
Hello there.
We have our Chief Financial Officer, Miss Carolyn Haynes.
Hello.
We have the Pastor, M.T. Body of the Glory of God Church.
Hello, everyone.
And the Pastor A. Lewis Eaton.
Blessings on you.
All right, today we're going to talk about, do you deserve to have a funeral? Come from Deuteronomy, the 34th chapter and the 5th and 6th verse. Pastor Body, if you read that for us.
Reading from the King James Version. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in the valley in the land of Moab, over against Bethor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day.
Now, isn't that something? God himself handled Moses' funeral.
Yes, sir.
Queen, do you deserve to have a funeral?
Yes, sir, Mr. Beckwith, I do deserve to
Okay.
have a funeral.
And
And I
it-
deserve a funeral because I paid for a funeral already.
All right.
I got a pre-need already paid for.
Okay.
I've already given instructions to my children. I have been a good wife at the time when I was a wife. I was a
Okay.
good wife, and I'm a good mother, a good grandmother, and I've served the community and helped thousands of families get coverage for pre-need. So I deserve a funeral.
You deserve a funeral.
People deserve to say goodbye to the Queen.
And since God is no longer the funeral director, you do have a pre-need with Golden Gate Funeral Home, the second best funeral director out there. What about you, King? Do you deserve to have a funeral?
I definitely deserve to have
Okay.
a funeral. For the many deeds that I've done in the community, the many
Okay.
lives that I have touched, the different things that I'm involved in church, and for my family and friends to say goodbye.
Carolyn, should we just pick you up from the hospital and take you right to the graveyard?
No, John. There's some people that I've helped, some people that I've taught,
Okay.
that I think would like to say goodbye in a proper way. And just picking me up and taking me direct to the cemetery is not good for them. Now, my soul is already gone to be with God, so I'm okay. But it's my friends and family that I would be concerned about. Just as I am now, I would be concerned about them at my death.
All right. Pastor Body, direct cremation, no viewing, no memorial service?
I don't know who that's for.
Okay.
I deserve to have a funeral, Brother John. I've been saved for many years. I've been spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ for 20 years. I've been a father for 26 years, and I've served the community working at Golden Gate Funeral for over 26 years. So I believe all that time I've helped some people, and I deserve to have them to come by and bid their farewell to me.
You deserve that.
I deserve it. I've earned that right.
Are you going to be missed when you pass away, Dr. Eaton?
Yes, I know 3 people.
Okay, you know
At
it's going to be
least.
three people at the
At least
funeral.
3. I know.
So when we're ordering your programs, we're going to tell them 4, one for the pastor, and then the other 3 people that's going to show up.
I at least want at least 500 programs,
Okay.
but 3 people gonna miss me. They gonna miss me for various different reasons, but I know my daughter is going to miss me because she won't have no one to fuss at anymore.
Or at least nobody to fuss back.
Right.
Queen, are they going to have to lie at your funeral?
No, sir, they shouldn't have to lie. I think
Okay.
that my life that I've lived has been a good life. I've tried to treat everybody right, go by the golden rule, and be kind to others, and I've been very giving. So I don't think people are going to have to lie.
So they're going to be able to get up and say that,
And tell the truth.
and it's going to be true.
That's right.
What about you, King? They're going to have to lie at your
They're
funeral?
not going to have to lie at my
Okay.
homegoing because for the many things that I have done, people I have touched, I've volunteered with my church, I drive the bus, just a lot of things that I do. A person that has to lie is a person that hasn't done anything
Other than for themselves.
for themselves.
right.
That's right. So they will not have to lie at my homegoing.
Now, Pastor Body, I know you've preached many. And I won't ask you if you ever lied at any, because I know you haven't. I know but I've heard you preach many chapel services. I've seen the way that you're able to even do a service for someone that you've never even met. How do you do that?
Well, Brother John, first of all, men of God must always remember, first and foremost, we're called to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if you know them, you're called out to preach. And number one, when you preach a funeral, you're not preaching a funeral. You're declaring the gospel of Jesus Christ unto those who are living. Because if you don't know a person, how can you eulogize them?
Right.
And the word eulogy means to speak on behalf of the departed. So there's no way a preacher who doesn't know anything about anybody could dare say that they eulogize them. And plus, you preach your own funeral. So as a preacher, I've had to search within and realize that I'm not preaching their funeral, nor am I eulogizing them. I'm just doing what I was called to do, and that is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and give a word of comfort.
Carolyn's a preacher going to have to lie at your funeral?
No. Speaking up and saying again the things that I've done.
Okay.
And as everyone has said here, may the works I've done speak for me. So no one, as he just stated, has to preach my funeral. I've preached my funeral my entire life.
Dr. Eaton, have you left instructions on what you want said, what you want done at your service?
Yes, I've left instructions, had to redo them.
Okay.
Because everybody I had on there is already gone.
They already
so
died.
To,
okay.
Yes, so I had to go in and redo it. But the instructions I have there is that I want them to view me before we start service.
Okay, so what we're going to do is what we call view walking in. When a family first arrive, they'll walk around, they'll view your remains.
And then we'll close it and have church.
Okay.
That means more old-fashioned country church.
And you have that written down.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be easy to know what you want done.
Yes, sir.
Now, Queen, when you go to the houses or when people call you and you go out, or they come into Golden Gate Funeral Home, do you ask them what they want done at their service?
I certainly do, Mr. Beckwith. We have a little booklet that we call a Gift of Love book, and it's very, very helpful to families because they can put all of their wishes, any special instructions, the clothing that they want to wear, the pastor that they want to do the eulogy, where they want to have the services. All that can be filled out ahead of time. They can give us a copy. We can put it in their records as well as their family members can keep a copy of it. So I do that.
I tell you, viewing is becoming very interesting. Everyone has a different opinion on when they want to be viewed or if they want to be viewed at all. Pastor Bobby, what type of viewing you want at your service?
My casket, once they place me into the sanctuary, is not to be closed until the end of the service.
And what about you, Queen? I think you kind of feel the same.
Actually, what I would love to do is just have it open the whole time.
Okay.
And then have another opening at the graveside service, because when my grandmother died, I remember how bad I felt when they closed the casket. They opened it at the very beginning and then they closed it, and I never got to see her anymore. And I remember that today. It just kind of tore me up on the inside.
So you're saying when you pass away, you don't want that to happen.
Right.
You want to stay open the entire time.
The entire time.
Now, we know, Pastor Bobby, some churches have certain ways of viewing.
Right.
We know some churches, they prefer you view at the beginning, some prefer you view at the end, and normally we follow the pastor's rules.
Right.
It's your house. You have a right to set the rules for the house. Now, if you're going to pre-need it, King, do you believe you need to get that straightened out with Dr. T.D. Jakes before you pass away?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
And on my viewing, I want mine at the end of the service.
Okay.
Most traditional funerals is the beginning, and they have, to walk around and see your loved one, and then at the end. But I just want mine at the end, and I think you should talk to your pastor.
Talk to your pastor.
Talk to your pastor and let him know what type of service you want. And then if you can't reach agreement with him, you're welcome to come to Golden Gate Funeral Home.
So you can have the service in the chapel, Carolyn, and you can do whatever you want. If you want to be open the whole time, you want to be open in between, or whatever you choose to do, you can do whatever you want at the chapel.
Right, it's your service, and again, you write it down and you let them know. And there are no rules in our house, because at that point it becomes your house.
And Pastor Bobby, we want to respect everybody.
That's right.
But if you don't put that in writing, you'll put your family in a position where they have to have some controversy and some chaos when you pass away, trying to do something that you asked them to do.
That's true, Brother John. We see it every day.
Okay.
How no kind of prearrangements was said, no kind of instructions was left, even not enough finances available to take care of the loved one. That family is left struggling, making decisions when you are in control of your own funeral. when you are the one who makes all the decisions for what you want done and who's to speak, when to speak. Really, be honest, you can write down what you want them to say.
Exactly what you want to say.
Well,
Just
exactly.
read this script.
Just read this, and this is what you say, and sit down. And so you really are in control of your funeral, and it's best to go ahead and take care of your funeral while you're alive, because it's not no one else's responsibility but your own. For your final demise to be the way you want it, we recommend that you come in the Golden Gate Funeral Home, get a pre-need, have your will in place, and get a life insurance policy. So when you're gone, your family can live on. And leave those instructions so they won't have to come to the funeral and say, I don't know what to do, Brother John. You the professional, you the expert, can you help me? Now you're putting a stranger in business that you should have taken care of before you was called to glory.
Carolyn, controversy can happen at funeral services, can't they?
Can and will.
And does.
And every day. And we're just asking the public, and we just say this and we can't say it enough. Write it down. Get it witnessed. Get it notarized. Again, you speak loudly every day. We just ask you to speak loudly again at your funeral.
And normally, Carolyn, the number one complaints that we receive or we deal with is because of lack of finances. Usually when someone does not have something that was already chosen, when they do not have finances to pay for what the family want, and they did not leave anything written on who they're going to leave things to, is when we start having situations.
All kind of problems. Again, the family is in uproar. They can't agree on anything. And every little detail then becomes a mountain for the family and for the funeral home. So you didn't want chaos in your life. You usually didn't have chaos in your life while you're living. We simply ask you to write it down so there's no chaos at your arrangements and no chaos at your service.
Now, Dr. Ito, do you believe a family can grieve properly when they do not have things in order?
No. I think it'd be a burden, more of a burden than just a grieving process of really letting go.
Okay.
Because they must remember that they have to face tomorrow. And a lot of times I've heard even members of the church say, well, once I'm dead, I'm dead. Well, no, that's true about you, but your family is not dead. And they could go through that grieving process being hurt more than being helped. And they hang on to things a little longer than what they would normally hang on to.
If you would have gotten
If you
things.
got everything straightened out.
So, King of Pre-Need, will your family have to pick out your funeral?
No, I've actually pre-planned.
Okay.
I have everything in writing. I have a pre-need. I have a memorial guide where I've left instructions where they know exactly just what I want.
Pastor Body, is anybody going to be glad that you're gone?
Well, brother, there's always going to be somebody glad that you're gone. You can't always please everybody. You can't always make everybody happy. So there's always going to be that faithful few that's going to be glad that you're gone. You know, in life, we meet people. Some we're happy that they come into our lives, and then there's some we're glad that they leave in our lives.
And we don't want that person in charge of our funeral,
No,
do we?
I don't want them at my funeral.
If you get the wrong person up there speaking,
Lord.
It's going to be a mess.
it can become a mess.
Yes,
You've lived your whole life, and you've done all these great things, and it only takes one person to get up there and ruin your entire funeral.
Your memory.
Your memory.
And it's something about that, Mr. Beckford. People always remember the bad stuff or the mistakes that are made or the confusion. They don't remember the good things.
Good things.
That outweighs it.
It's so important, Carolyn, that we leave someone in charge that we trust.
Very much so, John, because you can't always leave. You want to leave your children. We talk about that $1 million all the time. But they're not responsible enough to take care of business, to continue on with their life, put things in place. So you have to have that person who's going to carry it out to your wishes. And then you have that one person that you didn't leave anything to, or you didn't leave what they thought they should have. So therefore, they're going to cause chaos for everybody in the family. But that person you trust is going to make sure your wishes are carried out to the letter, and whether or not they like it or not, their life will go on the way you planned it.
King?
And you should also have a backup beneficiary from
Okay.
the person that you left in charge. Just in case that other person passes, you've got a backup person that can step in and be the beneficiary, and they know exactly what you want also, too.
Now, who's going to be in charge of your funeral, King?
My wife is going to be in
And
charge.
if you pass away together, who would be second?
It would be my son.
Your son. And you have that in writing.
I have it in writing.
So that won't be an issue for you.
It will not be an issue, and it's so much easier that way. Where if you and your wife were to pass away in an accident or anything like that, you've got somebody that can step in, that can handle both of the services and make the arrangements.
Carolyn, and I want to be sure we push this today. We have to be careful. If the beneficiary passes away and we don't change that, the heir to that beneficiary becomes in charge
Of that insurance policy, of everything that you've left. You're exactly right, John. We want people to understand that you always need, just as he just stated, you need a second person.
That's right.
And if that person passes away, change it. If they pass away before you do, it's very simple to just change that beneficiary. And then you put 2 more people in charge, your primary beneficiary and someone to take over in case something happens.
And
to
Carolyn,
them.
when we say that heir could be
Everybody.
it
All
could
of
be
the
a
children.
lot of folks. It could be
a lot of
all
them.
the children. It
All
could
of
be
them.
5 people you have left in charge. And we know you can't have 5 pastors of a church.
That are going to agree.
You can't have 5 CEOs. You can't have 5 CFOs.
Exactly.
It has to be one person that takes care of that job.
Yeah, and we understand reading